What's up, Taiwan? I'm Sandy Chi with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. U.S. President Donald Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping could speak soon as the two sides look to overcome trade issues. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CBS that the phone call would help resolve sticking points in the two countries' relationship. Bessent said China had not stuck to the terms of the Geneva Agreement that saw both sides walk back an escalating tariff war, calling out Beijing for withholding essential products. Beijing has denied breaking the terms of the agreement, saying it's the U.S. that has continued to put new limits on technology sold to China while revoking visas for Chinese students. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says China is taking its time on negotiating a trade deal with the U.S. But he told Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream that he trusts President Donald Trump to get the deal through.
They're just slow rolling the deal. So I think slow rolling is the right way to say it, and I think Donald Trump is on it. We are taking certain actions to show them what it feels like on the other side of that equation. But my view is Donald Trump and President Xi, our president understands what to do. He's going to go work it out, and I am confident that this is going to work out either way.
Lutnick says he also does not expect Trump to extend the current pause on across-the-board tariffs he levied on trading partners in April. It comes as the U.S. seeks to reach new trade deals with many of those partners, including China. Military leaders from around the world gathered in Singapore over the weekend for the Shangri-La Dialogue, Asia's top security forum. In a speech, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned of China's threat to Taiwan. Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun skipped the forum, but Beijing hit back, saying Washington is deliberately antagonizing China. To understand what's behind the exchange, reporter Zalan Sata spoke to Jia Ian Zhong from the National University of Singapore.
The Chinese defense minister skipped the forum for the first time since 2019, sending a delegate instead. What's Beijing signaling about its commitment to regional dialogue?
One of the logical readings would be that the Shangri-La Dialogue, or appearance at the Shangri-La Dialogue and having the bilateral meetings at the Shangri-La Dialogue, is not of priority to Beijing right now, especially for the defense minister. But of course, there's no independent confirmation. There remains speculation. Some guess that there could be some sort of internal turmoil within the PLA, as we've seen with the recent purges of top PLA officials, military leaders. There is, of course, the possibility that the Chinese defense minister doesn't want to be put in a situation where he has to deal with U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at a time when negotiations between the U.S. and the PRC are still at a fairly tense level, even though there's some abatement of the tariffs for the immediate period.
How are U.S.-China tensions being discussed at the Shangri-La Dialogue this year?
So U.S.-China tensions are in the backdrop. They don't dominate everything. They do come out in certain areas. For instance, when the PRC talks about the South China Sea dispute or West Philippine Sea dispute it has with the Philippines, the PRC Beijing tends to blame the U.S. for manipulating Manila, although there's no evidence for that. Now, at the same time, PRC also looks at the U.S. as a force for instability in the region and accuses U.S. alliance system for being destabilizing. The U.S., for its part, will talk about the PRC actions in the South China Sea, around Taiwan, and also in the East China Sea as potentially provocative and potentially dangerous.
Taiwan is often talked about at these forums. What are the conversations regarding Taiwan this year?
There have been several conversations about Taiwan. One, drawing a link between security and stability in Europe with security and stability in Asia. So there's a comparison between what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening across the Taiwan Strait. Now, there's also been talk about how standing up against the Russians in Ukraine is a matter of democracy versus autocracy, rule of law versus authoritarianism. And that parallel has been made with regard to Taiwan.
We also saw a big European presence this year. What are the Europeans bringing to the table?
So the Europeans in particular, I suppose this year marked by French President Macron's presence at the Shangri-La as the keynote speaker, is a indicator of Europe's attempt and sort of interest in being a major international security player. At the same time, the European presence also represents East Asia's efforts to branch out and look at more partners on the security front, in addition to the United States and to some degree for some states, China, in order to have, I guess, a more balanced portfolio in terms of security cooperation.
That was Jia Ian-jung from the National University of Singapore. In South Korea, presidential candidates are wrapping up their campaigns as voters head to the polls for Tuesday's snap election. It follows a period of political turmoil that saw former President Yoon Suk-yeol impeached for his illegal declaration of martial law. Jonathan Kaplan reports.
It's election time in South Korea, but this isn't a usual year for a presidential election. Koreans vote for their country's president every 4 years, and the last one was in 2022 when Yoon Suk-yeol of the conservative People Power Party was voted into office. He's now been ousted, impeached, and stripped of leadership after his illegal declaration of martial law threw the country into political turmoil, and voters are eager for change.
As a citizen, I had to vote in order to end the insurrection as early as possible and help the country take a step towards the future.
While there are 6 presidential candidates on this year's ballot, the race falls to 2 clear frontrunners, Lee Jae-myung of the Liberal Democratic Party and Kim Moon-soo of former President Yoon's People Power Party. And in this hotly contested campaign, both men have come out swinging.
Even though we have put the insurrection ringleader on trial and removed him from office, the second and third insurrection attempts are being continued by rebel remnants who disregard the constitution. But one thing is for sure, their insurrection cannot succeed.
His rival, Kim Moon-soo, taking a shot at Lee's high-security campaign after Lee was stabbed in 2024.
That fake guy says he has to wear a bulletproof vest to give a speech because he is afraid of the people. Let me show you.
Their campaigns have only had 2 months to take shape. That's because Korea's constitution mandates an election within 60 days of the presidential office being vacated. Ousted President Yoon Suk-yeol sitting out this round, following a lack of support from within his party, which he left last month. While Lee and Kim duke it out, accusing each other's parties of corruption, insurrection, and power grabs, voters seek political stability and prosperity.
I hope the next leader is not corrupt like past leaders. And I hope they put in effort to help people economically to live better lives.
Polls show Lee coming out ahead, with Reuters reporting him leading at 49.2% and Kim at 36.8%. Voters are expected to turn out in record numbers, and the winner will be sworn into office on June 4th, skipping the usual 2-month transition period. Amid growing regional tensions with China and the U.S., which has levied 25% tariffs on South Korean goods, now partway through a 90-day pause, whoever wins this election will have their work cut out for them. Patrick Chen and Jonathan Kaplan for TaiwanPlus.
Members of Taiwan's LGBTQ+ community are heading to Tokyo for the annual Pride Parade in the Japanese capital. As Rick Lau reports, they're hoping to showcase the full spectrum of Taiwan's colorful queer community.
Taiwan is known for its LGBTQ+ rights. This was the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage, and it's host of the largest Pride Parade in the region every October. But now members of the community are preparing to take the show on the road. This is the team heading to Tokyo this weekend for the annual Tokyo Rainbow Pride Parade. They're hoping to showcase the diversity of Taiwan's LGBTQ+ community and to share some of Taiwan's most famous things, such as Taiwan's highest mountain, Yushan, and its famous semiconductor industry.
我们邀请了8个不一样的 model， 那这个8个 model 有不同的性别、不同的年龄、不同的性别展现，然后我们是穿着共同的一组的服装，然后希望能够展露同志是多元的这个样貌。
我们希望用一个很多元的方式来告 告诉这个世界，然后跟日本站在同一个线上，用同样的眼光去展望 LGBTQ 在发展的未来。
Since Taiwan's landmark legalization of same-sex marriage, activists here have been working with their partners across the region to help promote better LGBTQ rights, whether it's same-sex marriage or better protections for gender and sexual minorities. But this weekend, they're also hoping to show that they know how to bring a party. Luffy Lee and Rick Lowett in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
One Taiwanese woman based in Osaka is bringing the taste of her homeland to the famous Japanese city with a unique snack bar. I visited the bar to see what she has on offer. Stepping into this shop, customers are immediately surrounded by laughter. The snack bar is called Hanamizuki, which means dogwood flower. It's located in bustling Kitashinchi, a part of Osaka known for its vibrant nightlife. Bars like these are common in Japan, where drinking holds an important place in both work and social culture. Sharing drinks with friends and colleagues fosters a sense of camaraderie and openness. But this snack bar is different from others in the area. It gives its customers a taste of Taiwanese hospitality, all thanks to 59-year-old Li Chunhua from Hualien, eastern Taiwan, or Yukari, as she's known to the locals.
听到我是台湾妈妈桑的时候，他们就会跟我聊天聊台湾，曾经去过台湾的人，那不知道台湾的人想去台湾的人，也会问我台湾的一些现在是怎么样，他们想去台湾可以去哪里玩这样，所以就从这里话切进去。 就这样融进来的。
It's not just Yukari's hospitality that draws customers. It's also the Taiwanese treats she makes.
我会做，我小时候我们家我会自己包水饺啊，做一些就是日本人吃不到葱油鸡啊、菜包能啊、菜脯蛋呐，然后那种小吃就是卤肉啊，那种卤肉就是米粉呐，那些东西在日本吃不到的。
Yukari is the soul of the snack bar, running it for over a decade while raising her 2 children by herself. Before opening the bar, she juggled 2 jobs, working day and night, and surviving on just 3 to 4 hours of sleep each day. To better support her children and give them a more stable life, Yukari decided to open the snack bar. The process wasn't easy.
那当中真的很辛苦，要带孩子，小孩子要高考。 然后又要准备店里的，那时候只能一直很拼命的打拼，很拼命的做。
Yukari's hard work has paid off. Many of her clients are regulars. Some have been coming since the bar first opened, drawn back time and time again by Yukari herself.
他の人には分かんないんですけど、僕には非常に優しいので、お母ちゃんみたい。
ここは日本だけども、日本のママよりも。昭和って言って分かるかなオールドスタイル、だから好き。今のママっていうのはもうねどっちか言ったらもう金儲けに走ってる人が多いから、だからみんな紹介するし、こう気持ちで飲ましてくれるとかね。
As a single mother who built her business from the ground up in Japan, Yukari has poured her heart into every dish she serves and every customer she welcomes. Now, with her children grown and a community of loyal clients, Yukari's shop will continue to flourish, like the flower it's named after. Hangshu, PG Zhuang and Sanichi for TaiwanPlus. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we take you to the Gran Tomatina Festival in Colombia, where people hurl tomatoes at each other. I'm Sanichi, take care and see you next time.
Thank you for sharing our passion for food and Taiwan. Veggie Island explores the vibrant world of plant-based cuisine.
This is amazing.
While Taiwan on the Rocks uncovers the stories and craftsmanship behind every sip.
Have you ever tried Taiwanese beer?
Are you ready to taste even more of Taiwan?
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, follow TaiwanPlus on socials. Pika!